Welcome back, Tigers! In this video, we're going to learn how to prevent automated tasks from being scheduled on a weekend or a holiday. Scheduling tasks on days when users are not available affects reporting when you are assessing how long it takes the task to be completed. Let's go check out how easy it is to create tasks that are only scheduled on business days. All right, here we are in Salesforce, and our first step is to set up our holidays. And we're going to go into Setup, type in holiday, and then here's where you're going to enter in all of the holidays for your company. We'll click New. Our first holiday is going to be New Year's Day, and this occurs on the first of every year. It's going to be recurring, and we're going to say it recurs on January 1st annually, and then we can say we don't want it to have an end date, and we'll click Save there. Now we're going to go ahead and enter all of the US federal holidays really fast here. Go ahead and jam out to some tunes while we do that. All right, our next step is to create a flow. So we're going to go to Flows, and we're going to go to Opportunity Closed Won Automations, because we want to add a automation to this one that creates a task for our onboarding teams whenever the opportunity is closed won. So we can see our entry conditions here are going to only fire when the opportunity is closed won, and it's only going to happen when the record is updated to meet the condition requirements. So this means that there's no chance that this task is going to get created over and over. All right, so we're going to first add an assignment here. And we're going to call this Assign Task Due Date. And we're going to create a new resource here. We're going to create a variable that's called var task due date, and this is going to be a date field. And we're going to assign the current date time to this task due date. In your example, you want to make the task due date whatever date it is for your requirement. So if you want the task to be due in 2 days or a week or a month, put the value over here. If you wanted it to be due in 2 days, you could do something like this, where we create a formula. So this is going to make the due date for the task today plus 2 days out from today. If you wanted the task to be due today, you could use the flow interview time and do current date time here. That's what we're going to do for this example because it's going to make it easier for testing and demoing to you how this flow is actually working. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a get holidays. So we'll do a get records element. We'll call this get holidays. We're going to look at the object holiday, and this is going to query all of the holidays that you just worked so hard to enter. We're going to look for the date of the holiday to be our task due date, and we only want it to find the first record. Then we're going to add a decision element here. And this is going to check to see whether or not the task is on a holiday or weekend. So we want to look for our get holiday element to have a value. So is null equals false. Or we want it to look for our task due date to be on the weekend. So we have a formula that we're going to create here. So we'll do a new resource. This will be called for task due date is weekend. This is going to be just a Boolean field, true or false. And then our formula is going to use the weekday function, and it will check to see if it's a Sunday or Saturday. If that is true, all right, then we're going to do an or here. So if the task due date is on a holiday, so that means we found a record in our get holidays query, or the task due date is on the weekend, we're going to perform an action. We're going to do an assignment over here if the task due date is on a holiday or a weekend. We are going to add 1 day to the task due date. So we will do our variable var task due date, and we're going to just add 1 to it. And then we're going to connect this back to our get holidays element. So this will keep iterating through the decision element, through the assignment, keep adding a day to the task due date until we eventually get to a day that is not a holiday or a weekend. Then once we do, it's going to come down the no path, and this is where we're going to create a task. All right, so our first field is going to be our due date. This is going to be our task variable. Then we have a description. We want them to schedule an enrollment meeting within the next 24 hours. Our priority is going to be high. Our status is going to be not started. The subject of our task is going to be schedule new client enrollment meeting. And then the related to ID is going to be our opportunity. So we'll go to the triggering opportunity, and then we'll choose our opportunity ID right here. Then we're going to save this as a new version, and we will add to our description that this automation is going to create a task for client service team to schedule enrollment kickoff meeting. So we'll save that. We'll activate. And now we're ready to test this out. I'm going to go to the Home tab, and I'm going to go to an opportunity. I need to find one that is not closed won. This one's in negotiation review. So let's go ahead and update this one to be won. All right, so I see my task was scheduled right here. Now today is Sunday. I'm recording this video on Sunday. And so based on our automation and our task, we said that we want it to be the current flow's date and time. Well, since today's Sunday, it is assigning the due date for the task to be tomorrow. So this is working out perfectly. Now let's go and test in the flow and see how this works when there's a holiday. So I'm going to save this flow as a new version. And I'm going to update this assignment element right here. And I'm going to put in the date 5/26/2025. This is Memorial Day because I want to test and make sure that the task is going to get assigned on Tuesday instead of that Monday. And then I will save that. Then I will debug this, And I'm going to use the opportunity that I just closed one to debug this. I'll click run. And then I'm going to look at the debugger here. So we can see that this is where I assigned May 26, 2025. We can see that we did find a holiday record for that date. And then we can see that this condition was true. Yes, the task is on a holiday. And then this assignment element is going to add 1 day to the task due date. And then our task create element right here is making the due date on the 27th instead of the 26th. So that is it. We have successfully created an automation that will not create tasks on holidays or weekends for our users. That's it. That's a wrap. Be sure to subscribe to Blue Tiger Academy. We need your support. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if you'd like to see a video on a different Salesforce topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.